You're listening to the Chartographers.
Hello, everybody! You are listening to the Chartographers. It is a music-loving podcast for music-loving people where we take every single album by a particular artist, we rank it worst to best, and just forget about the rest. You know what the rest are? The D-sides, the G-sides, the stuff that's just kind of thrown into the ocean, the plastic beaches of the world. But hey guys, listen what? We are here, we just basically barely passed 5,000 overall plays, which is insane and amazing, and I want to thank all of you for listening, and keep listening, and ranking us, and telling other people about it, because word of mouth is the best advertising, because we don't have to pay for it. And here's the other thing. We are now here, this is on an amazing another episode, our 25th artist that we're covering, or 25th,
is
actually,
it?
Yeah.
Oh, alright.
Which is crazy and real, and listen, we've gone from everything from modern and postmodern and everything else like that, but now we're not even going to review humans anymore. We're not even going to do that. We've reviewed all the artists that you could ever want in the world, so now we're going to do nothing but review cartoons now, and cartoon bands, and that's why this week we are tackling, oh, you know it's coming, the one, the only, the second most popular cartoon group in the world outside of the Archies. That's right, guys. We're talking about the one, the only, Gorillaz, or Space Monkeys if you're nasty. So, the Gorillaz, as we all know and well-ish, kind of, sort of, is founded by Damon Albarn. He is the lead singer of Blur, and after no one liked his hip-hop shit in Blur because Graham wanted to do indie rock shit, he's just like, you know what, let me go ahead and do some projects. He kind of formed a whole shit ton of bands. He formed The Good, the Bad, and the Queen. He did Molly music. He did all sorts of stuff because he's Damon Albarn.
He had so many projects.
Yeah, too many projects. Actually, tone it down a bit, Damon. But yeah, for whatever reason, at the time he decided to actually do kind of a hip-hop collective with the artist Jamie Hewlett, resulted in the biggest success he had stateside, and actually a pretty big success in the UK, too. To the fact where this band, they started out in 2001 when their debut album came out, and they are still recording to this day, which is crazy, and that is why we are going to rank their albums from worst to best, because, as you know, it's the Chartographers. It's what we do. We have a good time while doing it. We had some drinks. It's great. It's very British like that. What's that thing? We had a pint of lager.
Why it's British? Because we're drinking?
We are drinking American whiskey right
I
now.
feel like
Exactly.
that's just a human experience.
Okay, that too, certainly. I thought the British
Humans
invented drinking. Yeah, a
with a Z.
human's experience.
Yeah.
That's why we're
Humans.
drinkings with a Z, too, because that makes sense. Anywho, guys, so listen, we're going to be reviewing their stuff, but of course, in order to do it, we have to assemble a crazy, incredible group of people, and that is exactly what we have right now. Of course, as you know, there is me. I am Evan Sadi. You might know me as an editor over at Pod Matters. You probably know me as the host of this podcast. And if you know me as the host of this podcast, then you know the next person I'm going to be introducing, the noodle to my 2D. That's right.
That sounds like the grossest pet names ever. Like, oh, Noodle, oh, Tootie.
2D, the number 2 in the letter D. Taryn O'Reilly, guys. You know him, you love him. He created this thing with me. It's been going on for 5,000 plays worth of material, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm blown away by that. I'm glad we're on this journey together. It's
I know,
glorious.
and this is such a random band to be doing.
Right,
It's like,
yeah.
because we haven't done a Blur episode. we may at some point.
Right, and
Although, to be fair, I find most of their singles really obnoxious.
Mhm.
But, anyway.
You know, we'll get into it at some point. And the thing is that, like, I know that, you know, there is one particular Gorillaz album that might be in your top 10 albums of all time list. Maybe.
Yes,
I won't
spoiler.
reveal it. But the thing is that
Well, I could
you and
come
I...
home.
Yeah, you and I could do that, but we couldn't do it without that third voice that you just heard.
Hey.
That's right. He is actually a well-known director and actor here in Chicago. He has also been a guest on our dear friends over at Film Enthusiasts. He's been a guest on their film podcast as well. In fact, I've been on some of those episodes as well, and it's been a glorious and wonderful debate. Guys, you know him, you love him. It's the one, the only JGT, John Gleason Teske!
Hi, everybody. Long-time listener, first-time podcast guest.
Well, here's the other thing, though.
of
John
the
Gleason
Chartographers.
Teske, at a New Year's party, he confronted me in turn and said, well, like, you just kind of were talking about it. Like, have you heard it? He's like, no, I've heard every episode. And we're like, what?
Wait, every episode?
And it was just like...
That's not a thing.
That's not a thing, but he actually had heard every episode, and so as a fan of the podcast, we actually did some market research, and we've determined that people who are in a podcast are 5 times more likely to listen to it.
Yep.
So that's, I'm sorry, actually, I got the statistics wrong. It's 5% more likely to listen to an episode if they're in it. So, anywho, yeah, that's what we're hoping for. We're going to get that Gleason Teske.
Is that a real statistic that you need to correct?
It's the Gleason Teske bump. It's that 5% Gleason Teske bump
it's
from me.
As we know, it's the Teske touch. It happens every time. So listen, talking about Gorillaz, Teske's leaving. Murdoch, no!
I already appreciate him, because your reaction to Evan is very similar to mine. Usually, oftentimes it's like me rolling my eyes and our guest is laughing, and somehow I don't see that happening as much.
I've known
I
Evan
have
for a
cards
long
and
time.
cards of pre-written jokes and material. I need to toss them all away. Just like Jamie Hewlett when they got in a fight. Anywho, so guys, listen. We are talking about Gorillaz. If you want to get down to it, they have basically 5-ish regular ass albums. Let's get to the main ones. Of course, there was the debut, the very kind of, distorted poppy Gorillaz in 2001. There is the much more opulent Demon Days, which came out in 2005. Swap producers got in Danger Mouse instead of Dan the Automator. Then, of course, there is they put it out, Plastic Beach in 2010. It's a series of songs. Then they put out, the thing is, it was initially an online free release, and then they made it commercially available. So there is Travelogue, that is The Fall from 2011. We'll get into that. And then, of course, in 2017, the comeback that no one was anticipating or expecting, but Humans came out in 2017, and it was a whole thing. But there's all of that. There's also some fucking qualifiers, as we know. Of course, there is their B-sides, rarities comps, G-sides, and D-sides, corresponding to, Gorillaz and Demon Days, respectively. Much like, I think it goes without saying, because they're amalgams of, unreleased songs from those sessions, and remixes,
different versions,
and demos.
alternate lyrics.
Exactly. They're not stuff that we want to be including in the ranking. We'll certainly talk about them when we get into a little bit more.
In the happy hour.
Exactly, during the happy hour minisode. And then, of course, there's also, the remix album that they did of Like It Comes Home, as previously mentioned. Which with Gorillaz versus the Space Monkeys, a group that existed for that album and then never existed ever again. I think Damon killed him off. I don't know. He could be a UK mafioso. I don't know these things.
It's interesting. As much as he says that he's about collaboration, he really doesn't work with the same people very often.
Except De La Soul. He loves De La Soul.
De La Soul.
And they're down for it.
Through line.
Yeah.
They keep coming back, too.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
If you, hear them talk about it, they're like, oh, yeah, so we were hanging out. And I was like, why are you hanging out? Are you into it? And I'm like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
He's a good dude, I guess.
But hey, listen, at the same time, though, I feel like that's pretty... We don't have to include any of those things. We have the 5 main albums. The real point of contention, though, comes with The Fall, which Taryn, being a mad high school crazy Gorillaz fan...
I was huge into it.
Yeah, and he was not about The Fall. In fact, when we went into Research Week, he didn't even have The Fall, because he just heard so many bad things about it, or
No,
just like...
I had not heard bad things about it. I attempted to listen to it when it came out.
He said bad things about it.
And got a couple songs in and was like, what the fuck is this? Not to spoil our ranking, but,
we'll get into that in a second, alright? So, yeah, we'll talk about it. But, yeah,
God.
we are counting it as an album, initially. And it gives us 5 albums, 5 stuff to go through. I think we're off to a great start. John Gleason Teske, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
What was your favorite episode of the Chartographers that you listened to?
We're doing this now?
Ooh,
All right.
oh, we're doing this right now? I have a lot of feelings. Here's the thing. The thing I like about the Chartographers is even if I don't give a flying fuck about the band, I'm sorry, I don't care about the Decemberists, but I learned so much about pop culture and things that I just felt very much oh, this is all I
You're
ever
in the
need
know.
to know about the Decemberists.
It kept you cool and hip.
That's fair.
This
Which is amazing, because you're 82 years old.
Which is true.
Yeah, exactly.
So I really enjoyed that. I think sometimes my favorite times are when I'm listening to the podcast on the train, and I tell you both, Taryn, Evan, that you're fucking wrong, but I say it out loud on the train. I'm like, no, that's not fucking true. No, absolutely not. Can I say fuck on this podcast?
We do.
Okay, good.
Regularly.
Good. I just wanted to make sure.
No,
I just dropped it a bunch of times.
I don't really
and I just
filter
wanted
myself, so that's not...
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but for those who subscribe to our deluxe version, as you know, Chartographers...
Deluxe edition.
Chartographers Kids with a Z. Kids available. Where we take all our swear words and replace them with bouncy balloon sounds. It's amazing. It's terrible.
You boinking people are boinking.
All right.
Lemonade is the best boinking album that you have. How could Lemonade not be number boinking 1 on that? Anyway.
All right, we're off to a great start.
How did we get here?
All right, let's do it, guys. Ranking number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're doing the Gorillaz. John Gleason Teske.
Yes.
We have 5 slots, 5 albums to talk about there in terms of the Gorillaz and their weird and inexplicable magical influence that they've had over people for the longest time. What would you just nominate as the worst Gorillaz album?
I don't think this is going to be a terribly unpopular decision, but I'm going to throw The Fall right up there.
All right, let's talk about The Fall a little bit. Now, the thing is that when we went into Research Week, the first question I had is that we all know that Damon Albarn is pretty much the mastermind of Gorillaz. He, in Blur, he was, singer-songwriter, but he always had Graham Coxon, the guitarist, to, bounce off of and collaborate with. And here, he worked with various producers, like Dan the Automator and, Danger Mouse, to always kind of, give things to us. He's all about collaboration, and I get that, and I respect that. But the thing is that when I heard that Gorillaz is basically a collaboration between him and Jamie Hewlett, the artist, I'm like, okay, so what the fuck do they do? What does Jamie do? And Jamie, as I determined through all the different research going into this week, he just does the drawings. That's all he does.
He does the
but
art.
He's also in the studio with them at the same time. He's filming shit. So it's still kind of a nebulous variant.
Yeah, I'm sure that if he hates a song, it doesn't end up on the album. You know, there's
he has some executive veto power.
Who knows if he's really in the studio for the entire recording, which is kind of what it seems like, because that will maybe inform the art, then maybe he has some input on the textures that are chosen.
Right. But there was this article, this amazing Guardian article during the release of Humans that came out, and Jamie talked about they had a big falling out after Plastic Beach. And they weren't entirely sure why, but part of it was the fact that Damon had half the surviving members of the Clash on stage, and the Hypnotic Brass Ensemble, and all these other people, and it's getting bigger and bigger. And Jamie's like, all right, so the big giant screen and they have in the background for my animations and shit, that's getting bigger, right? And they're like, no, it's not. It's staying the same. So he just felt like he was kind of being diminished, or his role was just, you're just the artist or whatever, even though that is what he is. So they had a falling out. So during that time, when they were touring Damon, for whatever reason, iPads came out. iPads came out in 2010, 2011, and Damon's like, oh, look at all these fucking apps I can play with. So there was this claim that The Fall was the iPad album. Everything went into or came out of an iPad. That was the studio. So there is some acoustic guitar. There is some ukulele, some other stuff on there. But it is all just Damon fucking around on apps for an entire album. So when Taryn said he had listened to it or didn't want to listen to it, I understood that impulse entirely, because it is not...
Because we have sort of... It's not specifically a requirement, but we don't want to do an artist with less than 5 albums for the most part, because we want there to be enough of a
diversity,
discussion. And I almost didn't want to do Gorillaz, because I was like, I don't want to talk about The Fall. Listening to it this week, I was a little mistaken. There's a couple things worth hearing, and we'll get there. But it's just it almost isn't a Gorillaz album to me, because it didn't have any input from Jamie, I'm assuming. It has almost no collaboration besides Bobby and Phoenix, which is one of the best things
and that yodeling fish at the end.
Thank God. The Seattle yodel. Thank you.
But, no, it was a magical time, because I'm listening to it and I wasn't super familiar. I knew The Fall was a thing, and I listened to it once or twice, probably in passing. Yeah. And I was sitting there, so I've listened to the research. I was going, Gorillaz, Demon Days, okay, The Fall, and this just sounds like he was fucking around on GarageBand. And then I read that he was just fucking around on GarageBand, and that's where that album came from.
Yeah.
It blew my mind.
The credits on the album are actually a list of the apps that he used.
Oh God, really?
Yeah.
Yes, it's true. And it blew, because it was just so much, and part of my, which we'll get into, part of my, I think Plastic Beach was a little, it had a lot of ambition and was really broad. And then The Fall, listening to it afterwards...
what the fuck are you doing for half of it?
Was just garage. It was just how come you're doing nothing?
For example, if you take the 4th track, Detroit.
Oh, God.
That's the other thing about this album, is that it's basically just a tour diary of their U.S. tour for Plastic Beach, which is obnoxious.
Damon's tour diary. Right.
Yeah. But so Detroit is almost a song that you could put on.
The synth line is okay.
And and it has some interesting percussion bits. And it's it's an instrumental, it's pretty nice. Mm-hmm. Except that I think all of the layers are unfiltered. and all their default volumes. Like,
Yeah.
everything is at the exact same volume. There's absolutely no mixing whatsoever. And
Or
so
subtlety
it sounds
or shade, yeah.
unfinished. It sounds either unfinished or sloppy.
Like, Detroit
And
is
so-
the great idea of a song, and it never becomes a
It
song.
doesn't-
It's so far from being
Exactly.
a song.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
It's just some dude fucking around.
It
And-
feels like if somebody had sent you a link on Facebook for their awesome SoundCloud project that they're doing at night when they got really drunk on a weekend, and you would be like, "Holy crap, dude!
You should
this
get
is-
into music.
This is a
and not
wonderful
release
project."
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And or like this, and it sounds a lot like. I mean, I think Gorillaz as a whole sounds like a badass soundtrack to something, which is kind of the point.
Yeah.
Right.
It diminishes as Hewlett gets, boring or whatever to Damon. But like, it sounds a lot like a soundtrack. So this sounds like the soundtrack to that movie your buddy made,
Yeah.
which on his iPhone, which you're like, wow, that's a really good movie shot on your iPhone. This is a really good album for that SoundCloud account.
And then you hear it by itself, and you're like, you don't have the movie, and you're like, what the fuck is this?
And you're like,
It's a series of sounds.
And then it's like, oh, it's the Gorillaz did this?
Are you sure? Well, the thing is, it was released initially for free on their website. That makes sense to me. Then
That
they
makes
actually
sense.
did an actual album physical release. It
Yeah.
sold 50,000 copies in the U.S., and that's so upsetting to me. I'm like, there's so many things that could be having those sales that, like, you just, I don't know, it just irritated me. That being said, there are some not terrible moments on here.
Right.
Sure.
Like, my favorite is Revolving Doors.
Mm-hmm.
Not a brilliant track. I would say it's on, like,
It's like regular Gorillaz B-side level quality.
or even, like, regular Gorillaz, like, lesser album track kind of quality.
Sure.
But,
It's a nice little acoustic jam.
Revolving Doors. Right. And,
Yeah.
and that's it. The times that this album works is basically every time he brings in an acoustic guitar.
Yeah, fucking
Like,
Bobby and
anything-
Phoenix. I love that.
Like,
yeah.
anytime he's like, oh, this is more than just iPad sounds.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, that's when this album works.
Exactly. I also am a big fan of Amarillo, personally. It kind of has this nice
Mhm.
little synth kind of like, waves, this nice little
Yeah,
vibe.
and I feel like with
Yeah.
all of the, like, white noise that's in that, it's a callback to the first album for me.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of just, like, wind noise or, like, whatever on the first album, and that Amarillo's kind of that same vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found myself nodding to songs that a lot. I mean, whatever, like Funner to Arizona doesn't make. I think those words are just connected to each other. But I'm like, oh yeah, this is fun. This is not the greatest song on the album even, but like I enjoy this. I enjoy this listening.
And then
to
there's
it
those
for, like,
other
the
songs
fourth
that are
time.
just...
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah. Or, like, how about Hillbilly Man? Which is, like, the vocal sample there, it's very processed, but he's definitely just going, Hillbilly, Hillbilly Man, Hillbilly, Hillbilly Man. And you're like, oh, wow, Damon.
You
yeah?
decided to make a song out of that?
Cool.
Cool.
Stay tuned for the Happy Hour minisode where I talk a lot about Hillbilly. Let's
Excited
just
for this.
let's
Alright,
just put that out
That
there.
being said, I think we're all in
Alright, yeah,
agreement.
let's stop
The
talking about
fall, it doesn't need any more words or anything else like that. But now things get a little bit more interesting, because we got Gorillaz, Demon Days, Plastic Beach, and Humans. Taryn, Mr. Gorillaz man yourself, what's your nomination? Number 4 spot.
I mean,
Hot spot.
as much as I do have, like, a soft spot for parts of this album, it has to be Plastic Beach. For
Alright.
me. It starts out really strong. I think it has, if you get to, like, Rhinestone Eyes or, like, Empire Ants, their collaboration with Little Dragon,
Mhm.
I really, really enjoy, and that's on the first half. And then once you get past Empire Ants, which is track 7, it just fucking plummets.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
It's just like it's like the reason there was no B-side compilation for Plastic Beach is because the B-sides were the second half of the album.
Yeah.
They were already
The B-side
out.
of the vinyl, yeah.
Yeah, and it just, like, you get tracks like Sweepstakes, which I just don't.
Sweepstakes keeps thinking it's a song, and it's not a
It
song.
is- it's
yeah.
not a
But it's trying so hard.
Boom, ding, boom, boom.
Yeah,
I really
it brings
wanted
back
it to
in,
be a
like,
song
it,
that I
think-
liked.
Yeah.
I think that they bring back like Sinfonia Viva or Hypnotic Brass. I forget which one.
Yeah.
But like, and that's like the only great part of sweepstakes is when the horns come in and you're like, oh my god,
Where's the whole song? Right.
There's music happening and then they leave again and it's just Mos Def over like this nothing.
And Mos Def
beat.
was also on Stylo, and I just feel like he was underused for a majority of this album.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the other weird thing about Stylo is that like that bass line is iconic. I remember being so hyped when that was the first single and that video with Bruce Willis. Like that's
and Bruce Willis just giving it his all in that fucking music video.
That video and that first single like signaled a better album than what we
I know. It was
got.
weird though because I remember like Stylo. I would say Stylo is not a good song. It basically is kind of like Damon trying to do the Knight Rider theme in his own fucking aesthetic. That's basically what he's trying to do. But the thing is that like I remember thinking and I'm like I just think it was such a weird choice of a single. And then Taron challenged me. He's like, okay, well what would you have picked?
What would you pick instead as a lead single from this album?
And I'm like, as a lead single especially, like, and, you know, the closest I could come to is Welcome to the World of the Plastic Beach, just because Snoop Dogg's charisma drives.
I mean, did get its own video.
Yeah.
So good. So I was like,
Plastic.
Snoop Dogg.
Well, I mean, anytime Plastic, I mean, like, Snoop Dogg still makes a lot of things sound great. Plastic Beach, you know, like, there's that, you know, like...
And again, the horns on that one. I mean, like, that's not, like, a brilliant song, but it is a very good mood setter to open this album.
And although it's goofy and kind of terrible at the same time, Superfast Jellyfish, I'm still delighted by. Superfast Jellyfish. It carries on a fine line of rap songs about breakfast.
There's so many of those.
Whether it be Murs on DJ Z-Trip's albums, or the fucking Noisy Eater by off of the Avalanche's latest effort, Wildflower. Like, there is a long line of rap songs about breakfast, and this continues that line very, very nicely. Worst De La Soul... Oh my god, De La Soul actually kind of annoys me a little bit on this one. Don't waste time! Like, okay, you can guys stop a little, you know, additional...
Well, don't you think that was, like, more Damon than them?
I don't know.
That's the thing, we have no idea.
This definitely sounds like the album where, I mean, though I'm sure they're unreleased, and for good reason, it seems like there's hundreds of hours on this album that are not that
I mean, yes. Well, like, for example, for Bobby Womack's part on Stylo, he recorded, like, 2.5 hours of improv into a microphone, and then Damon just, like, cut together this little verselet to be used in this song.
A cute little verselet.
Yeah. And it's like, well, yeah, that's why it's so incoherent. And that's, we were reading an interview with him where he was like, oh, there's just no rules. Or, like, when he's talking about... He did a song exploder for
Andromeda
off of Humans, where he's just like, oh, I'm just making sounds, like it's just whatever words come out of me for like the demo, and then he usually doesn't write other lyrics. So like when it sounds like gibberish, when it sounds like words that have nothing to do with each other, that is correct.
She turns my dad on.
And that's the thing, like, I feel bad, though, because Plastic Beach, it's full of ambition. Every song has a completely different color and texture and feel to it. Like, every song is distinct in their own way. But I don't remember, like, the choruses of practically any of these. Like, it's like a hard stretch. Like, it's pleasant enough. Like, I'm looking at the thing right now, and To Binge, I've heard these albums multiple times this week, and To Binge, I couldn't tell you what that sounds like.
That's the one where it's like the slide guitar that's like...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
This is me legitimizing that I, did not remember what that was at all. And it'd be See, I guess my argument for Plastic Beach is if we could have, like, the good parts of Plastic Beach and also a second album of the bad parts of Plastic Beach, the good parts would be much higher.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing, is, like, for me, Rhinestone Eyes is one of my favorite Gorillaz songs. Like, that, I mean...
Like factories far away.
You know, the 2D spoken word thing, I feel like he found a really good way to make that work.
And that's the thing, I'll give credit to Damon Albarn, as much as he's just kind of this wispy whatever, he finds incredible vocal hooks all the way through. He finds incredible ways to just, like, melodicize his lines, even though it's kind of this broken boy in the corner kind of thing
also,
that's out there.
I know you don't necessarily agree with me, but I love White Flag. I do. I think, honestly, just the National Orchestra intro part It's
Intro's
just
phenomenal. I'm not
gorgeous.
denying that.
And then I feel like once the second verse with Kano comes in and the beat gets a little more hype, I'm like, okay, yes, now it's getting somewhere.
Yeah.
And I just, as a note in general, I appreciate that song because it features the Syrian National Orchestra for Arabic music, which almost definitely does not exist anymore. So
Yeah.
it's a nice little
And that's the thing.
capsule.
Like, I know Damon. He is a big world music aficionado, but he always has a great way of being able to incorporate that into his work as well. Because he's done other like world music styled albums or compilations and things like that, which are certainly not commercial, I would say. But he always finds a nice way to articulate it through this very British, very, like, and to a degree, Americanized mindset, too.
Well, and it's fascinating because that's something that I just realized about him within the past couple days is that there really is a giant Talking Heads influence here. Like, not only, I mean, if you listen to that, the debut Gorillaz album, there's multiple songs on there that sound a lot like late stage Talking Heads, that sort of like world beat. Then he has all the world beat side projects, like he has his own record label where he's bringing these African artists in, and he has Tina Weymouth on the first album, which I had no idea
Yeah,
about
that was a
until,
revelation.
Like 2 days
Your
ago.
mind was blown
My
by
mind
that
was
album.
so blown.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, she's singing on 19-2000? That's insane.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So, that being said, though, unless there's a crazy argument against it, I personally am okay with putting Plastic Beach at number 4.
Have we shat on it enough yet, though? Because look at all of these songs.
What's
in
going
the
from
second
here?
half.
That's I think there is an argument that can be made. I'm not gonna say that I'm going to
The syrupy pop of On Melancholy Hill.
Can I tell you, by the time we get to track 10, which is on the latter half of this album, like, that sounds like a single.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming back to something that I can connect to and go, I could watch that on
That's a
MTV
song.
too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And everyone else feels the same way because obviously Plastic Beach came out at the beginning of the YouTube era.
Right.
And so that is now their second most watched video is On Melancholy Hill.
Which is, it's a cool music video. I don't think it's their best song, but it's
by
very,
a far length, it was also the best charting song on the British side of the charts too. So yeah.
But I mean, it's
Besides Dare, though, right?
No, I mean for Plastic Beach.
Yeah.
this is
That totally makes sense.
this is definitely an album that I feel like was trying to do too many things.
Yeah.
In a way that especially for the first 3 song stretch, and Rhine's so nice 4-song stretch. And then Silo didn't wow me, but I appreciate it because I adore Mos Def. It was I had so much hope. I had so much this was bigger to me than Gorillaz. This was bigger than lots of stuff on Demon Days, and this was it could maybe go to places.
He just has to rope it into a fucking song if he feels like it.
And then it kind of fizzles out.
And that's the other thing. There's so many down-tempo, floaty bullshit songs on the second half, but it's just that's not right. There wasn't any when there was
air
lower to mid-tempo tracks on the earlier albums, they had texture to them. They had something odd happening, something a little unnerving, or just even if it's just a thick vocal filter. I don't know. Whereas on Plastic Beach, it just gets a little more placid.
So I'm okay with putting it at number 4.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
This is definitely you maybe skip the fall, but definitely take time to appreciate Plastic Beach if you haven't.
Listen to the first half of Plastic Beach.
Yeah.
And if you're really curious, the last half, but only if you're really curious, and not the fall.
Mos Def did Sweepstakes in one take, so as shitty as it is, he did it in one take. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
High five Mos Def.
Or am I doing that?
No, you're not. You're not Mos Def.
Am I taking a high five on his back?
But and I wanted to we can edit this out in post, right? But I
won't
post.
But
we don't have a budget for that.
I wanted to as much as it was really disappointing the second half, I appreciated that they tried.
No,
And then you devolved into a pilot. You turned into Murdoch. He turned into Murdoch
didn't
right
do
there.
anything.
I didn't even
Yeah.
appreciate that they tried because it kind of didn't feel like they were trying. When you get bullshit Some Kind of Nature or Broken, these are just generic ass songs.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Were you expecting anything out of Lou Reed at this point?
I mean, listen, he did that song with
no,
the Killers
but
that was also pretty terrible,
I
too,
just
around
wasn't
this time.
expecting Lou Reed in general.
Right. I wasn't expecting Lou Reed, and I was very excited that Lou Reed was on the album, and then I remembered Lou Reed hasn't done anything worthwhile in very
outside the time he interviewed me, but that was before this. I could have persuaded him.
Sure,
that was his own thing. So also for the record, I'm really pissed off that it sounds like Beck heard the song Broken and was like, I need to write a song based off that. And wrote the song Wow, which is one of the shittiest singles he ever did in his entire life. That's its own thing.
Okay.
Beck rant over. Hashtag Beck rant. Alright guys, number 4, Plastic Beach. That's good. Alright, so now we're down to the top 3 of, the 5 album discography, but there's so much to talk about. And my nomination, because it's my turn now in the nomination process, it has been very agreeable so far. But I would say number 3, it should be pretty obvious. If we put Plastic Beach at number 4, Humans has to be up next. I mean, also, how can it not be? Guys.
Taryn's looking
He's looking very
for
coyly.
something from me.
He's coyly,
I don't know. I was waiting for your reaction.
I think this is the point where we have to sidebar for just a second and go, what exactly is it that we're ranking?
Right.
Are we ranking the songs? Are we ranking Gorillaz as a band? Are we ranking the albums as albums?
It's kind of 3 ways of saying the same thing, but alright.
But it isn't. Because I think Humans is filled with good songs with really talented artists.
Yeah.
And I think it's not a great Gorillaz album, because it doesn't sound like the Gorillaz, and I don't think it's a great album, because it doesn't sound like an album.
Right, okay. See, now that I like. I like that argument a lot.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing about it is that, remember, their comeback, their return was holy shit, they're actually getting back together, because we thought they were
I lost my
done.
damn mind.
Yeah.
I was so excited.
Yeah, it was about fucking time, and they fucking ramped it up. There were apps you could download and do 3D tours of shit, and you could do 360 videos and other things.
I've been on Gorillaz.com enough. I know that
you put in the first CD in your computer and got the key to Murdoch's van or whatever, so, it's all good.
You bet your ass I did.
You're damn right you did. But the biggest thing is that I feel like this one coming back here, okay, so they have all this time off, they did a Blur album in between, Damon was ready, him and Jamie, patch things up, it's great. And I feel like it has, honestly, a lot of sonic similarity with this Plastic Beach, in the sense that it is, an extremely overarching, overambitious.
Yeah, overambitious is a very good way to describe it.
Yeah, and I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with it, because I feel like it is more propulsive, certainly, than Plastic Beach. It's still it wraps its shit up into more concise and accessible and digestible forms. It's still weird as hell.
It's more of a modern producer showcase than it is a Gorillaz album.
Yes.
Because for the first 3 albums, for the most part, Damon was still singing the majority of every song.
Sure.
There were guest artists, they had their time in the spotlight, absolutely. But I think on every album before now, there has been at least one song where it's solely a guest person giving the vocals. But there's 5 or 6 of those on Humans, where it's just it doesn't even sound like this project anymore. Yeah.
Right, and even if he is doing the vocals, it doesn't sound 2D.
Right.
It sounds like Damon doing the vocals for this thing that he produced.
Exactly. And so there's a lot I like, and so again, I'm kind of in a torn thing. There's certainly more takeaways, individual songs that I have on here than I do over Plastic Beach.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
Easily, right?
Absolutely.
And if we want to talk about the good stuff, it's hypnotic, it's weird, it's nowhere near commercial, but the fucking Grace Jones cameo on Chartographers.
That's legit my favorite song on here, and in my top 3 favorite Gorillaz songs at this point. It is just
his weird hypnotic vocal.
From the beginning, they described Gorillaz self-titled as zombie hip hop, which is stupid but also totally accurate. They've always had this this horror bent. There's demon possession, etc. And Charger is I want
an album of
that to be just played on repeat on Halloween, or just it needs to have a creepy as shit music video.
Yeah. I would love
when she's just
shit music video.
And that's the other thing. Demon Days has so much maniacal laughter.
Yeah.
And Grace Jones is so good at that. She giggles her way.
It's
into
almost
the
like Eartha
opening,
Kitt
and then
style.
She's it's so Eartha Kitt, and then she's provocateur. It's what I want, and then it comes in. That's easily the
right. And you actually even like the song Submission until Danny Brown comes in.
You know what? And the Danny Brown verse has even, like, I've gotten over it. But, like, Kalela sounds amazing. Like, I feel like if it didn't have Danny Brown, that would be maybe possibly my favorite song on here. Yeah. Just because I think it's just so solid. She's giving an amazing performance. And then...
But like the Danny Brown wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't following something so great. Like if it was its own song, I'd be like, okay, that's an okay track.
He sounds great on the Avalanches album.
You can bring in Danny Brown.
Yeah.
That's a very specific style. It fits Gorillaz, absolutely,
sure.
but not on that track.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like that was doing her a disservice. Also, can I just say, I guess it's not totally consistent. But for the most part, if there's multiple features on this album, the woman is credited last, except for Mavis Staples.
Oh, Sex Murder Party.
Sex Murder Party?
Yeah. Zebra Cats is listed last.
Yeah, that Jamie Principle is a man.
Oh, never mind.
But then, like, for example, on the bonus EP,
yeah.
when you have The Apprentice, it's Rag and Bone Man, Zebra Cats, and Ray Black. And it's like, Ray Black sings the second verse.
Yeah.
Why isn't she credited second?
That's a good question. And for me, like, even honestly, I still kind of dig that De La Soul collab. I like Moments a lot. It's just, it's a way more fun and engaging than their goofy Super Fast Jellyfish off the last one.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it
I
has
feel like
a rhythm,
the verses
it goes,
are better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Clocks on the watch,
well,
the
this album
watches
in
on
general,
the wrist, the moments like
fully
this.
electronic.
Yeah.
And it's a party album, you know, which is...
It's an apocalyptic party album, because it opens with Ascension, and Vince Staples' verse on there is pretty brutal. Like, it's like, I don't even love the song, but by the time he gets to that fucking ending verse of just like, you can have everything you want as long as you don't look like me, like, there's like some fucking venom and points to it, you know? Yeah.
Do you know, this, as they were going into the studio, everybody was told that they were doing this sort of like post-apocalyptic, like dealing with whatever kind of future we're going to have. It's, what he said is, and this was, you know, early 2016, a lot of this was recorded. Early, you know, late 2015, early 2016, these conversations were being had of, imagine, like, you were writing songs as though Donald Trump was president of the United States. Like, as though that would be crazy and horrible.
Right?
So, like, imagine that. So I think part of me listening to this album over and over again, I was like, I'm already feeling these things. So, like, the emotion behind it, I don't need more of.
Right. No, I think that's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
and I feel like it's kind of this confluence of different things. Like, Damon said that. He wanted to make a pre-Donald Trump apocalyptic whatever album. And Jamie, he's like, you know, we're checking our phones all the time. Like, we're becoming machines.
Right.
And that's why for the cover art for Humans, I was like, what if the characters are actually more human than humans? You know what I mean? That's why it's Humans with a Z. Like, it feels like there's opposing philosophies kind of going on here, which is why it's a mixed muddled album. Admittedly, Plastic Beach was its own mixed muddled album as well, an ambitious mixed muddled album, much like this is, but still, I don't know necessarily the points of a lot of it, you know?
It feels like somehow, even though they're collaborating, they have different inspirations for the same project.
Right.
Like, they have the same end point, but their ideas behind how they got there are, like, not the same. It's very interesting.
But even then, it's like, even still with Humans, he didn't put the iPad down, and he made lots of these songs, Damon did, before anybody got in the studio, and he just, like, bare bonesed a lot of it on his iPad, on GarageBand.
Although,
as a multi-million-dollar recording artist, but
as obvious this time.
Right.
It's not as obvious, but it
is accurate.
But then he, like, built this, and then went, hey, this is, like, dark Trump president, however you feel about the Trump presidency, this is not, you know, like, this is the thing that I'm putting in front of you. Just go deal with your stuff. I'm not doing a British accent. I'm sorry. And so then, and there was a lot of, like, improv and the 4-hour sessions of, like, going through how you would feel and, like, ranting about what's on your mind on that kind of thing. And it feels very much like, oh, I know what I'm doing. As, you know, Damon knows what he's doing, Jamie knows what he's doing, and then everybody individually is knowing what they're doing, and then they're wrapping it all together in post. And they're, like, cutting and editing in post.
Which is why the bonus edition of this, Deluxe Edition, has, like, a 5-song bonus EP.
Right.
And the bonus EP is like really fucking good.
The
Like
Apprentice?
these are songs. The
Yeah.
Apprentice is one of my favorite songs on here, easily, and it's not actually on the album that
Right.
we're ranking.
Why
which
is it not on the album?
Okay, so I read in one of the interviews was that when he realized that Trump was actually president and he wanted to go full bore into this concept, this party for the end of the world, this is the worst thing ever thing, Brexit happened, Trump was president, he cut most of the UK
The
collaborators.
US.
No, he cut
Oh,
cut
all
most
the
of the
UK.
like Rag and Bone Man and Ray Black were both from the UK, and like that's why those songs got relegated to the second disc, was because they no longer fit the concept of the album, which is like both you're like, okay, I kind of get it, and also on the other hand, it's
kinda
like
dickish.
no one fucking cares.
Right.
Just put out the best songs.
You're not making this long, very detailed story album, man. Like
Right, like even less so than the first two, which were not story albums.
Yeah.
But even less so now. It's like, this is not a coherent concept. Like, you don't have to follow these rules.
Yeah. So, the least favorite songs, just out of curiosity? Because I think it seems like we're all pretty much in agreement Humans is going to be number 3. at this
Yeah, I
point.
mean,
Yeah.
like, our least favorite songs on here, I have a soft spot for Sex Murder Party, even though it's stupid.
really, because I hate it. Really,
I'm more the line of
sex
hating
murder,
it, too.
I mean,
murder party. Like no,
I
no,
only
shut up,
really
dude.
like. Yeah, no, you're right. I probably don't actually.
Actually, I feel bad because like I want to like Hallelujah Money, but I feel like
don't.
I-
It's so formless.
I know it
See,
is.
that's the I
the
kind of
title. You have a great title. Work on that.
like I hated it at the beginning, and then I go, oh, this is kind of an album or a track I'm supposed to hate. Yeah, I like it.
So you just became the contrarian at that point.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, this kind of sucks, but like everybody's just kind of. This feels like one of those albums with a bunch of tracks, especially if you add on all of the extra tracks that are in the universe.
You know,
right
and now there's like a bonus single, Sleeping Powder, too,
right,
which
it's
like.
great.
You're
Which
like,
is
this gets its own music video, but it's not even on the deluxe 26-track edition of the album. Like, we get a
Fuck you.
27-track. And
All
now I
right,
have to buy
Kanye.
this separately.
God damn it!
Yeah, it's a
Um,
little Kanye, isn't
Yeah,
it?
and Damon, you're not Kanye. I had
Except
to
the
bring
thing
it
is,
to-
he's been doing this for a while, because both Demon Days and Plastic Beach had their own, like, side singles. Demon Days had Rocket, and Plastic Beach had fucking Donkamatic with
Yeah.
Daily,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
are both, like, pretty good songs.
Yeah, exactly. But this one also has "We Got the Power," and I actually really like "We Got the
Yeah,
Power."
I do.
We got the power. You know, like when the drums come in, and it's just like this energetic party. Like
And
that's
it's like-
the only real like party song on here. You know.
Yeah. Honestly,
Yeah.
like even it's described as this party for the end of the world, but I feel like the paranoia and the like horror aspect comes through on it. Like it's on Charger. It's the Carnival is
It's on
freaky as fuck
Saturn
and
bars,
also unnecessary.
Saturn
All my life.
Saturn bars also like. This is one where I'm like, why the fuck was that the single? Why
Yes.
is that
Yeah.
the single that gets the actual music video? Because
Damon.
the kids love Pop Can. It's like
He was
you
on
have
the Jamie XX album.
this is the album where you have Charger, which like would have been a weird as hell choice
Oh,
for
it
a
would have been
single,
such a great
but it should
introduction
have
to
been
the
a
album.
single.
Yeah.
Or like even Andromeda. Andromeda has proven to be a pretty popular track, and I feel like if it had been pushed as the single, it could have like
Yeah.
performed as one.
And I feel like they've gotten to a point, the Gorillaz, have gotten to a point where, like, I don't know, people bought 50,000 copies of The Fall,
The
man.
fucking
Like,
Fall.
like, and, like, you can push a weird single,
and
and
it'll get there.
and
Yeah.
people
Because
will
that's the
get
thing, is their past successful singles are weird songs. These are not like pop radio structured tracks.
Yeah. So that being said, let's just go ahead. Let's just do something. Let's lock in Humans at number 3, and now
Oh, I do just want to say, before
Yes.
we leave Humans for good and forever,
Uh-huh.
is Strobe Light, the third track in here featuring Pevin Everett. It's a
Everett.
little annoying because it really doesn't seem like a Gorillaz song. It's Pevin and like a chorus singing this track, but it's one of the best things on here.
Sure.
That's I feel like that and We Got the Power are the only two tracks that really feel like party tracks.
yeah.
I mean, I've been to the party for almost every one of these tracks. They're not great parties, but I've been to that party.
Yeah, let's
Like,
go to a She's My Collar party. That sounds great.
I've been to the She's My Collar
No, I
party.
totally
I'll tell you
have
later.
too.
All right.
But
Speaking of collaborators that don't need to be there, Damon, what is Kali Uchis adding to this experience? Why is she here?
She's the Uchiest. And speaking of the Uchiest, John Gleason Teske.
Yes.
Now listen, you're in the nomination spot now. We've all had a turn, and listen.
Should we nominate or should we just discuss?
I think I don't feel comfortable nominating.
Okay. In that case, let's go ahead. Let's go in sequential order and discuss the 2 albums that we have remaining. And I have a feeling if you're even a casual fan, you probably knew that the 2001 debut album Gorillaz and the 2005 follow-up Demon Days, you know those were going to be the ones they were talking about. Like, because the break-off of quality between the last 3 albums and the first 2 is larger than you think. It's actually pretty decently large.
I feel like the break-off for Humans is less big.
Yeah.
Like, Humans is consistently enjoyable, at the
Yes.
very least. From start to finish, you're...
I'm glad I have it in my life.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Whereas, these first 2 are just, so good. It's sort of incredible that this is the same
Band.
project as the other albums.
Well, let me tell you, because we all heard Clint Eastwood as the lead single from Gorillaz, the thing that launched this all the way into the world. And when I bought that album, when I bought that fucking thing, when I put that CD in, and the first song that came up there was Rehash, and it follows it up with fucking 5-4, I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is great! Sounds nothing like Clint Eastwood. It's kind of like this weird, indie rocky, but in its own weird kind of universe kind of thing, with dirty keyboards and rising choruses and drum fills. I was digging the fuck out of it, and then Tomorrow Comes Today comes on, and it's this weird, wavy other universe, and I was like, this has got to be the greatest album of all time. And for a while, when I was younger me, and I heard it, for the first half, all the way up to, track 5, maybe 6, depending on my mood, I was like, oh my god, this is fucking amazing. And then it gets into some fucking weird-ass shit after that. But let me just tell you, that first album was just such a weird amalgam of hip-hop, indie rock, all sorts of other things together.
It's so genre-bending.
Yeah.
Which is, what my favorite albums are always genre-bending. It's when you don't define yourself by one style and you just pull
But it's still your
everywhere.
aesthetic.
But your aesthetic is consistent, and that's so true on this first Gorillaz album. There's
a weird amount of confidence coming out of this.
overarching hiss, too, which is sort of a weird thing to say, but it's so accurate. There's this sort of, almost a record filter over it.
Yeah, this dusty little crackle that you can kind of hear. But then again, this is the same album that actually, it can house something like fucking 5-4, this little, La Japame, it can have that. And then you can also have Rock the House, this horn-driven, sample-based Still the Funky Homo Sapiens feature, and it works in the context. Those feel like they come from the same source.
Yeah, I feel like especially, actually, the transition from double bass, which is low-key one of my favorite tracks on here. Totally an instrumental. It's probably because I've been with it for a decade. But those combating bass lines and that boop, 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 I don't know. I love it. But then going from that very low-key sonic soundscape, and then it just breaks into immediately that horn riff on Rock the House. It's like, oh shit, it's happening.
Yeah.
I was more resistant to this album than either of you.
Oh.
I was like, okay.
So when it first came out?
Yeah, when it first came out.
Okay,
when it first came
out.
I was like, okay, alright, so they got that good Paul Newman song. Paul Newman? Whatever. Some gold white dude
Randy
song
Newman?
that doesn't make any sense for the name for what it is. Okay, I get it. Oh, it's Clint Eastwood. Okay, alright, that's okay. That's a weird video. Sure, whatever. Alright.
Monkeys are dancing.
This is never gonna last. I was definitely very much these cartoon
These
bands
trend
never gonna
assholes.
last.
The thing is, I don't think that they expected it to last
Right.
either.
But here's the in retrospect, especially listening to this whole album straight through for the first time in however many years for this particular thing, I went, oh, I've listened to almost every one of these songs in its own context, in its own because I've enjoyed it, because I put it on fucking mixtapes or whatever, because it's been on commercial after commercial that I didn't mind getting too inundated with it. There's so many songs here that I knew. I knew without even thinking about it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're like reminded me of places and things because which went and I didn't try and listen to this album. I tried not to listen to this album, and it still like vibrates at the same frequency of my soul and my youth. Like, what the fuck, guys? Like, good job is what I thought about in Research Week. It's like, everything is great. Everything feels like, and this is what, to me, is the biggest departure from the first album to Even Humans, is that this feels like, you've got a bunch of pop single hits that are still real funky.
Uh-huh.
Like, everything sounds like something marketable, which, is not
And
necessarily
it doesn't even
his
feel like
intent.
that was like the intent of it,
At
because then
all.
you hear like Man Research Clapper, the LA.
But, like, I was there for it. I'm
Right,
like,
you're
yeah,
like
I'm showing up.
into it.
We
yeah.
love that one.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
and then even as much as I'm kind of annoyed by it, like again talking about those Damon vocal hooks,
Yeah.
and then,
Well,
but then that
that
turns
was-
into a completely different
That
song
one's
as it
so
goes
fascinating because that song starts and it's just vocal and like cricket samples basically,
Right.
and then it goes into this full like hip hop breakdown.
on.
Which, since we're mentioning the hip hop breakdown, we have to mention Dan the Automator.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who was
yeah.
a huge collaborator on this album, and we were reading an interview with him from
This
2001
era, yeah.
earlier today, where he was talking about how he
Damon.
Damon was talking about how he wrote and produced about half of this album by himself, and then decided that he needed a different outlook to come in and work with him on it, and that's when he brought in Dan the Automator.
Good call.
And so, like, and the thing is, like, knowing that, you're like, oh yeah, obviously, like, M1A1. I fucking love that song.
Sure.
It's weird as hell. It samples, I believe, like, the original Dawn of the Dead or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it works, but it's like full-on punk.
Yeah.
Much like...
Much better than Punk, by
much,
the way.
mu-
for-
and much better than punk.
Yeah.
Which is not my favorite song on this album by a good stretch, but like I like it better than everything on the fall. I like it. I would
So
listen.
good,
Like
yeah.
it's not a song that there's nothing on this album that I skip.
Like, here's the thing.
Yeah.
That was my thing thinking about it this week. Where, like, I always had a fond memory of this. Actually, and then generally my research week was like, these albums, a lot of them were way better than I remember them. That was kind of the big revelation. And Gorillaz especially, I'm like, it's not flawless. It feels close to flawless, though,
It's
at a couple of
pretty damn
times.
close
Like,
to
Latin
flawless.
Simone, I could probably, be okay
Yeah.
without listening to.
Yeah.
Starshine, kind
And
of,
the thing is,
whatever.
like, Latin Simone, like, I even like the idea.
Right, like
If you had done this thing but better, I'd be all about it, but you didn't do it better.
Yeah.
And then, what was the other one on here? Oh, New Genius. That's, like, that's the first time, like, I feel like the horror really comes in here. And it's like, then I promise you that the river ain't deep. Like, that's also, it feels so soulful. Like, that, like, almost,
Yeah.
that's where you come in and you, like, it makes sense that you brought in so many of these, like, classic R&B singers as your guests on later albums, because
You clearly
you already,
yeah.
like, you knew how to do this thing right away.
Mhm. So that being said, Demon Days, their follow-up, and also inexplicable bestseller too. Because don't get me wrong,
I'm sorry,
Clint Eastwood.
inexplicable?
Yes, because here's the thing: Clint Eastwood was a hit, and we, as John Gleason Teske said, 192000 was actually a single. There's a Soul Child remix of it that is actually
So
fantastic,
good. Way better.
way better than the kind of irky jerky keyboard.
It pops up the tempo and
Yeah.
adds like a couple more synth layers. It keeps all of the original layers.
Right,
And it just gives it that little extra
soul
like
thump, that
pop
optimism.
radio
yeah, which is
kick.
awesome. And so therefore, when they put out as a single from Demon Days this song called "Feel Good Incorporated," I listened to it just today, and I was really focusing on the transitions because it really is more akin to System of a Down's "Chop Suey" than it is with anything else. Because it is like 8 different songs together, and somehow they work.
I'll give you, it's at least 3 different songs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
These are not like coherent pieces. And it just like, it's going and it has its hook, and then, he's doing his like, this spoken word, and I'm doing a verse. And then it's like,
And then all of a sudden the drums stop,
like,
and then there's the guitar. Windmill,
Yeah.
Right.
There is 3 separate instances kind of overlaid together of ha 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 ha, and it's like different. Like,
Yes.
And I was, and I like.
That's the other thing.
Oh my god!
What pop single has maniacal laughter?
Multiple times.
Multiple times, and you're like
it opens
there
and
for
closes
it.
and has it in the middle, right?
Yeah.
And De La Soul do great maniacal laughter. Let's
They
be real.
do. They do.
It's my chocolate attack.
I mean, I could like do that verse for you right now.
Happy Hour
I have
Minisode
listened
coming right
to
after
that
this.
song so many fucking times.
And yeah, that's the other thing too, where it's just like I feel like again, Damon, especially now that you have Danger Mouse as a collaborator, and Danger Mouse, don't get me wrong, I love Danger Mouse. I'm a big fan of his work with Gemini. I love the Grey album. He's decided to become a rock producer. He's a really boring rock producer. I really don't like almost any of the albums he's done as a rock producer. They're really gray and drab and surprisingly not like filled with color or texture or everything. His work on Demon Days is pretty great because he knows like how to make a song pop. So many of these songs here actually end up like these little string sections that kind of come in and percolate and kind of add it to a little bit.
Like
yeah.
El Manana, for example, which was not my favorite song when I was a big fan of this in high school, and then over time has really grown on me. And that full like it's basically like the last minute and a half are like sort of dueling string parts.
Yeah.
Like overlaying each other and doing with like
I'm
power
sorry.
melodies.
That's not Damon. I'm sorry.
No,
like
there's no way.
clearly, yeah, exactly.
No, there's no way.
Yeah.
And that's like similarly, my favorite Gorillaz song is on this record, and that is Every Planet We Reach Is Dead. Which is that this like slow burning, it's almost bluesy with the tempo, and it's featuring Ike Turner on jazz piano, and he's fucking tearing it up in this like fully explosive outro, but then the verses are also this like low, like this classic Gorillaz, like, again, it's very minor key, there's so much tension, and he's just, it doesn't even fucking matter what the lyrics are about. And then...
and that, like, gets to my whole point about Demon Days, and actually, honestly, Gorillaz as a whole, is I feel like Damon he knows how to stumble into a good song, because it's so little of it feels deliberate, you know? You think about It Dare, you're like, it's coming up, it's there, and then you have this little synth part, you know, you have that, and then you have this little, like, choir vocals, these ooh, like, in the background, like, it's spooky, but it's dancey, and it's, like, all these things together.
Dare has one verse.
Yeah.
And it just repeats that verse over and over again for 3.5 minutes. And it's brilliant because within that verse it has all these little tiny details that only come in.
No harm,
they only come in for like one little section within this big structure that just keeps repeating, which is also part of why remixes of it don't work. Is because they don't add enough details to make this one repeating melodic phrase interesting for a 5-minute remix.
I feel like Demon Days does what Humans does not do in terms of like making every song sound like a Gorillaz song.
Right, and I feel like Humans clearly wants to be Demon Days again. I feel like there's like it wants to embody that soul somehow.
Human wants to be Demon Days again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly what I said. But like, and then even the intro, like Last Living Souls. Are we the last?
Yeah.
So, and then adds all those little keyboard parts you like on top of it. Like it's a gradual building and percolation.
Even the like little nothing tracks on Demon Days. Like when you get to White Light. Like White Light. And this is like punk all over again, except it's an actual enjoyable, cohesive little weird song.
Although it's weird though, because my other revelation I had listening to it this week is that there are some fans, let's be real, that are kind of don't know what to make about the Dennis Hopper cameo on here, Fire Coming Out of the Monkey's Head.
Dude,
I'm not saying I'm one of those fans.
Okay, so like Fire Coming Out of the Monkey's Head is like I know that it isn't as influential as my brain has made it, but I hear it everywhere. I hear it's like on albums throughout the years following. I hear this like late stage spoken word story tracks that are just like production suites, and I feel like as much as you're going to do like a concept album, like I feel like Demon Days is the most concept-y of the
Right.
albums
Well,
that come
and
forward,
that's the-
because it actually has that creepy, like, it has the horror movie sampling intro. It has these very like bass laden like opening songs, and then it gets into the pop singles, and then it finishes with this 3-song suite of like there's this story about
It is a
how
story.
consumerism is terrible, and then after that like you have to like make your way to the afterlife, and then
Right, because I mean,
Mhm.
Fire with the Monkey's Head, it ends with like this large mass scale, like, you know, death of everything in the world, and then song following is "Don't Get Lost in Heaven." It's much more, you know, bright and shimmery. Like, it feels like it's a through line there. And hearing those 3 songs together, I'm like, oh. Wait, are you trying to tell a story now? Like, was there supposed to be a story this entire time? Like, I was unsure about that. It's a great collection of singles too. Kids with Guns, for the most part, I know. Like, I kind of. That's another stumbling through success. Like, it starts out with this doom 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 doom, and then when the indie rock guitar comes in, and you hear the push it good. You know, you hear all that stuff. Kind of coming
That's
in.
another one where he accidentally found a great chorus.
Yeah.
I wanted to hate Kids with Guns. Like, every time I listen to it, I'm like, alright, this
Kids
song.
with
And then by
Guns.
the end of it, I'm like, yeah.
Kids with Guns.
And you're just like, oh, yeah, really? Yeah?
Is that what you're doing? Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you have for us? But then it really turns into... Oh, and also, low-key, one of my favorite Gorillaz songs
Say All
is
Alone.
"Oh Green World."
Okay, there we go.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
yes, also All Alone. I have a soft spot for All Alone, even though it's not good.
It
But
is
no,
not
Oh
good.
Green World, and that also brings me into a moment where I think it's at least twice, maybe more, on this album, they use filtered screaming as a texture.
Yeah.
On Oh Green World, they use it as sort of as percussion. It's like, after you get through the first section, it just goes, ah, ah, ah.
But that's the thing.
and then they do that similarly on the outro of Every Planet We Reach Is Dead. There's just like, it sort of sounds like it's coming through a radio,
Mhm.
and it's just like, just like screaming in pain to add this like level over this like intense organ riff and the jazz piano and the sludging. Anyway.
And I get that, but here's the only thing I'll say is that when we think about comparing these 2 albums, because eventually we do have to nominate a number 1 and a number
Sure.
2, I have a feel like both these albums have, and I truly mean this, a similar number of high points. Because, like, Gorillaz, like,
Yeah.
has some incredible iconic, but it also has punk, it also has Latin Simone. And Demon Days is, you know, like, this over-ambitious, but it, unlike the other ones, like, it actually lives up to the ambition thing. But the closing 2 songs, Don't Get Lost in Heaven, Demon Days, are kind of floaty, kind of a, you know, weak outro.
I love that shit.
And Dirty
though.
Harry.
No, I love the Demon Days title track.
Dirty,
like
yeah.
when you bring in that full gospel chorus and
Yeah.
they have
And
you
also,
have, like 4-part harmony.
as much as I
happening.
love Doom, November Has Come.
November has come as easily the weakest track on Demon
Yeah,
Days,
exactly.
and
It's
it's
rough.
not. They
Rougher.
just they don't. His verse isn't great.
I know, and Doom is such a good vocal. He's such a good MC.
I feel
And
like
I don't
it's
know
not
what
a
he's-
it's
yeah.
not a great beat. To be honest,
Yeah.
it's not a great rap beat. It
Yeah.
could have been a good like indie rock song.
I feel like there's some weird things here as such like real poppy music where you can see Damon setting up, unintentionally setting up, probably like the if you're going back to Gorillaz, like, oh, Clint Eastwood is done, and then Dan the Automator's like, I'm gonna bring in this dude and he's gonna sing on it and he's gonna do a verse and you're gonna listen to it
Oh
and
god,
see how it
we
goes.
didn't even talk
Yeah.
about Dell's verse on Clint Eastwood.
Which is the reason that
Yeah.
they're a band. Like, the reason we're ranking this album is
because
Dell's verse on Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Without that,
because
none of the
it's-
other shit would have
It's,
happened.
Nothing.
it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, his flow isn't incredible. His lyrics are
Finally,
top
someone let me
notch.
out of my cage. Yeah.
You know that like Jamie and
Some
Damon
kind
gave
of
gave him this
age. I
concept
couldn't
and
get
he just fucking
Right.
ran with
Yeah.
it. Like, you know that verse is better than what they were expecting to get turned in.
They finished the album. They
Wait,
finished the
literally,
song,
this is
and Dan the Automator is like, "Hey, I'm gonna bring in this guy that I know, and he's gonna do a verse on this. Just see what you think." Like, the song was done,
oh god.
and
That's
then they
insane.
added that,
That's
which is
insane.
insane to me because it's, I mean,
The guy
without
from
him.
Deltron 3030.
Right, I know.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Right,
sorry,
right.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that being said, like, it's one of those things, like,
or the Ghost Rapper, if you're
if
in the
you're
lore.
music video. So, like, Demon Days, I get it. I have a feeling there's a reason why these are number 1 and number 2. I appreciate the fact that it's so much more ambitious and accomplishes so much more than Gorillaz, but at the same time, Gorillaz is such a definite, cohesive statement, such a statement of what a band is and what a band can do. That's none of this other stuff would have happened were it not for the fact this album was as weird and as forceful and as poppy and as goofy and as innovative as it was. So when it comes down to ranking to it, I think the big thing we have to do, we should go around and say what our number 2 pick is for this. And I will start, I will get the awkward tension out of the way. I will say that this is just, it might come down to personal preference, that's okay. My number 2 is Demon Days. John Gleason Teske.
I hate to do this. I hate to do this.
Do you?
For multiple reasons.
Uh-huh.
But, I mean, I really feel super dirty about doing this, but I'm going to agree with
It's
Evan.
okay.
Man. Because, but, like, I want to make an argument against myself for that. Like, I feel...
Terry will do it for you in a
I have an
minute, but
argument.
keep saying.
I have lots of... Because I think that Demon Days was so much more ambitious, and successfully so, on so many levels. But, like, at the end of the day, Research Week sold me on, like, Gorillaz was just as good as is better than I remember.
And that was my biggest thing, too. Like, I knew everything I knew about Demon Days before, and I got to re-love and because I didn't love O Green World before. I definitely love O Green World now. But listening to the debut again, I'm like, this holds up way fucking better than I remember.
And so there, and I do think that Feel Good Inc. is maybe one of the most, like, whether you want it to or not, most iconic pop songs of the last however many years. Like, oh god, more than 10 years.
Yeah,
because
you're
we're old.
Yeah, you're 82, as mentioned earlier.
But, like, seriously, there's that, like, beat from donk, da-da-dum, and I'm like, I'm there. I know exactly what this song is. I know what all 3 of these songs are at the same track, you know, and I'm feeling every part of it. And I don't think between these 2 albums that, like, artists,
and that's
like,
this
this is Michael Jackson level of singles.
These
like,
are
this
two
is Madonna singles.
Amazing albums, like, right next to each other. So, like, I don't, like, have, like, such a hard line, you know, with any things like that. I do think that there, but as we know, Terran O'Reilly, here's the spoiler, Demon Days was one of his top 10 albums of all time.
I just think...
He wants to get into it. Go
I
ahead.
think Gorillaz... obviously, we all agree these are 2 very fucking good albums.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gorillaz is just a little more muted to me. You know, it picked its vein and it went with it, and it does that very well. And Demon Days is just so technicolor. It goes all over the goddamn place, and it just nails it every single time. Like, it just... You said it yourself, there's more ambition here, and I think it's just so successful in all of the ambitions that it has. It brings in new collaborators, it has incredible rap verses. We didn't talk about Dirty Harry, and I love that. That's sort of like the first time they bring in that maybe like Middle Eastern musical vibe, and I think that works really well with their aesthetic. And also like Booty Brown's verse on that is really great. I don't know, I think that the tracks on Demon Days individually, there are better things here. Like, when you have Feel Good Inc., when you have Dare, like, yes, Gorillaz is a very solid album, but Demon Days has just fucking incredible pop singles.
I mean, so does Gorillaz, though. That's my counter argument. Of a very different ilk, and obviously still the same loving place, but yeah. Like, Tomorrow Comes Today, they didn't really try and replicate that exact sound again later on, but it's just the atmosphere. It's 5 seconds in, and I'm just there.
I mean, yeah. Tomorrow Comes Today was another one that like I wasn't a huge fan of early on, but it's now like in my top 5 favorite Gorillaz songs. Yeah. It just like I don't know that any artists, not any, but it's no one else hits that exact vibe that Tomorrow Comes Today manages to
so successfully and so quickly too.
Yeah.
It's just instantaneous.
Right, like within the first couple minutes, you're like, oh, this is what you're doing. I'm so on board.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm pretty well.
All right.
Camp
I mean,
Gorillaz.
you guys.
You're pretty well. Do you still feel the same way?
Oh no. Oh.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No, because I wish that Demon Days. Part of me wishes that Gorillaz and Demon Days weren't right next to each other, because I do feel like Gorillaz is so much cleaner and like accomplishes its, I guess, less ambitious goal way better than Demon Days accomplishes its way more ambitious goal. Does that?
Interesting. Yeah.
But I think it accomplishes its way more ambitious goal, way better than most albums accomplish anything at all. Period in the history of time. So listen. I'm petitioning for my Four Non-Blondes Chartographers episode.
Yes, he is. I've said it before.
And once we get that, we'll talk about how that is the greatest album of all time. But moving forward, that's not going to come today.
Tomorrow comes today.
Tomorrow comes today. All right. But I just
it's fine. We can just do it.
Don't feel bad about his feelings. He's gotten so many things.
I know. I've won a lot of battles on this podcast. So
this is. I guess it comes down to me. I don't need to listen to Demon Days. I don't feel the same way.
Statement.
I don't feel the same way when I listen to Demon Days, even though it lots of it has higher points than Gorillaz, I think, but it also has more. I think my argument is exactly against that. I think that it is deeper. I think that it is more interesting on a lot of levels, and I don't think it's more fun. And I think that's my central argument, is that I think Gorillaz is just all fun, all good, interesting pop music, and it feels like the same band did it, and it feels like the same group is playing that music into your soul, and it feels like that same, like, oh, this was the music that I liked in 2001. This is the good music from 2001. And it feels very much like that, even though a lot of the tracks feel very different from each other.
So your vote is?
By a narrow, narrow margin. My vote is Gorillaz number 1.
Okay, well listen guys, let's do a quick recap of that right there. Number 5 is The Fall. Number 4 is Plastic Beach. Number 3 is Humans. Number 2 is Demon Days. And number 1, we all knew it was coming, The Fall again. Somehow it made its way to number 1. I don't know how it did that. No, number 1 is Gorillaz at a very, very tight rate. And listen, we have talked a lot about all this stuff, but as you know, we have a lot more to say. Taryn is rolling his eyes at the whole
That wasn't an eye roll.
He's fine.
Yeah.
Taryn's fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Taryn's fine.
Fine and wonderful.
That's everything his look is going for right now.
Exactly.
He's not mad. If you've seen the Russell Westbrook memes, they look a lot like Taryn's face right now.
What? All right, so
we'll have a conversation about this later.
But that being said,
you say that into the mic like they're going to be there for
it.
Like it's a secret.
We're going to cut this.
All right,
we aren't though. You keep saying that, but we're not going to cut any of it.
It's all pure, raw, and unfiltered, and available for premium Chartographers members. There's the unfiltered cut.
Members.
So guys, listen, thank you so much for listening. Please do us a favor. Like us and rate us on iTunes and find us on SoundCloud and all the other places. We like it when ratings happen. Throw your own list on our Facebook page as well, because interesting comments happen on the Facebook page, and I love it when it happens. Please do. We usually respond. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's Taryn. It depends. It'll be fun times. Either way, also look up John Gleason Teske on Twitter.
John Gleason Teske. We gotta wrap this up.
Anyway, but yeah, thank you for listening. Keep on listening, because there will be. And we'll see you in the Happy Hour mini. So right after this. Yes, Queen. There'll be
yes, Queen.
Yes,
Queen.
Yes, Queen.
This is
yes.
This is. I can deal with this.
Yeah,
good.
That's
excellent.
All right, excellent.